Hello everyone, welcome to Conversations That Matter with Sethi. Today I have with me a very special guest, Avighan Sethi. I welcome you, Avighan.
Hi, thanks for having me here. So I want to ask you a question before we start. Why is today's episode about Gen Z versus Millennial?
So all have been talking about how Gen Zs are better than Millennials or how Millennials are better than Gen Zs. So I wanted to know your perspective about it, about your generation, and I want to tell you a little bit my perspective about my generation.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So let's start. Why has your generation suddenly started going abroad for all your education and coming back? Because I remember many of my known friends and all have gone to Canada or US, UK for their further studies, but have settled there or have done an education and done their jobs. But you guys have been coming back to the family businesses. So what has been the motivation?
See, basically it's like if you're fortunate enough to have like a family business background, so why leave it? Why would you go work for someone else and increase their profits? Like if you have an empire, you should stay and expand it rather than helping someone else build one.
That's nice.
And like the sense of security that you get from having a business to rely on, like a backup, it's basically a backup for you because you can always rely on your family business and work for them, and it allows me to do other things as well what I want because I am my own boss.
Yes.
So the amount of security it provides is a really big thing.
And actually our parents have worked so hard to create this.
Exactly. Why would I leave all that and go work for someone?
Yeah. In continuation with that same question, I have seen a lot of you creating your own businesses at the age of 14 or 15. You have your own candle making businesses, or you are having these websites where you are selling pre-owned goods, pre-owned luxury brands, and a lot of this economical, motivational, business minded you have already been at the age of 14. Whereas when it comes to my generation, we've started working at the age of 23 or 24, 25. So how has this happened? Ki matlab paida hote you guys been this business minded people.
Right. See, the thing is that we've been exposed to social media since a very early age.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of stuff and we have a lot of information available to do things, and we have a lot of resources available online. And we've also seen COVID that basically instilled a sense of independency that, to have something else also along with the main thing, like a backup. Because it was a very unstable time for a lot of people. And so it basically made us realize that we want a certain lifestyle also. So we've also seen Insta influencers, and we want a certain lifestyle. That lifestyle, to build that lifestyle, I want to build that on my own. I don't want to need help from my parents, or I don't want to rely on them to provide me that.
Putting all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly like that. And what I can cause I've been working, we've been working since an early age. We'll be much we'll be independent much earlier than you guys. If we say if you start working around 24, 25, you'll get that level, you'll achieve that level around in 30s and 35. But whereas we can already be there around at the age of 25.
That's a nice perspective,
right?
And a nice thought. So my next question is, there's a lot of talk about mental health in your generation. You need therapies, you talk about it very openly, whereas in our generation, or even our generation prior to us, it's a taboo. So how come it's so easy for you to talk about it?
Right. See, that's a really good thing about us is that we've got acceptance for mental health. We've realized that it also matters. There are a lot of things going on with a lot of people, and you need an outlet. You need sometimes you need someone to talk to, and not everyone is as fortunate as us. Like I feel really like blessed to have parents like that I can go to and talk to them. But sometimes issues only begin with broken families. You cannot even talk to parents. And if you're studying abroad, there's so many things like handling finances and everything that it gets overwhelming sometimes for people. So they need an outlet. And I've seen you guys, like there's not much acceptance of it in your generation.
Because we feel कि मम्मा से बात करके सब सॉल्व हो जाता है ना. We don't need that बाहर का person to explain us what the problem is.
But you need to realize that not everyone has that.
Yeah, of course, I agree with your point. Not everybody is fortunate enough to have those kind of cool environment, family environment. And what I've seen in another thing is that many people don't realize that they are being bullied in school.
Exactly. They have some traumas which they don't even realize that they have. Sometimes it's not just family, obviously it's the surroundings and the way they've been treated since they were kids. It suddenly hits you when you're like 19 or 20 and you have nowhere to go. You cannot talk to your parents, you cannot talk to your friends. So it's good that we have an outlet. And it's better to talk to someone, like talk to a professional rather than, being suffocated about it and being depressed about it. Yeah.
So, one very important issue that I want to address with your generation is vaping. Why? There's a lot of people, I see a vape almost in everybody's hand. Don't you guys realize that it is so much injurious to health?
I agree, and it's really saddened because the amount of acceptance and normalcy it has in our generation. It's like really sad because literally I've seen reels about it. It's so normalized. It starts as being cool that you vape, but obviously it's nicotine. You're gonna get addicted. What's even sadder is that seeing kids nowadays. Like I've heard stories like in our own school, like people like kids go bring their vapes to school, like 3rd, 4th, 5th grade kids. Like I don't know how to feel because what kind of lungs will they have when they're...
Very swiftly you've shifted your burden from Gen Z to Gen X. I would come back to your generation. At an age of 19-20, you guys are vaping non-stop. It doesn't even comes written on it that it's injurious to health. At least Siggy's on their Siggy packets, it was compulsory from the government side to write that these kinds of issues you'll face, cancer and everything. But it has become a toy.
Yeah, it's so accessible and it's so easy. See, like smoking, some kind of smoking was there in all the generations. If I talk about you guys had hookah, like pen hookahs you had and everything. And if I talk about mom and dad's generation, they had smoking, like cigarettes. So now we have vapes. But the thing is, vapes are so accessible. Like you cannot smoke like cigarettes in home, or you cannot set up a hookah at home because of the smell. But vape is so small, you can literally carry it anywhere and it doesn't has the smell or anything. Like it's so easy, like you can no one can tell.
I was just reading a news last week that a boy from Europe, his lungs collapsed because of excessive vaping. I'm not able to understand, are these kinds of news you guys are not reading it, or you are still ignoring it and continuing with कि अभी हमारे साथ थोड़ी हुआ है, जब हमारे किसी known में होगा then we'll take it more seriously. I take this moment to actually address this issue that it is very really bad for health. Drinking isn't that bad. How much this vaping
is. I will agree to that.
So my next question is situationships. What are situationship? Because this is a term. What is a situationship? Because this is a term coined by your generation.
Right.
Before that, I hadn't heard about it. So, could you please elaborate more on it?
Yeah. So, basically, situationships are kind of a very non-serious form of relationships where basically you are dating, but you're not labeling it, and you are not committed to the person. Like you can see.
What is your generation's problem? Why don't you guys commit?
We take our time in committing. Like we don't rush into relationships like you guys, because they often end up bad and leaving you like in a channa meria state. Like
it's not often, but some do.
Exactly. Like I've seen like people. So it's better if we take our time knowing the person, and if it feels fine, like obviously like we end up dating, but at least we are not, heartbroken, like we have a walls built.
But yeah, love is at first sight. I'm that kind of era girl where love is at first sight, and agar itni calculation kar li, then how is it love? It's a very calculated relationship you guys get into nowadays, where you don't want your heart broken, but it's okay. Heartbroken is also very its own kind of an experience. But then you guys are very
we are taking
calculated.
care of ourselves, like we're protecting ourselves from that, because it's bad, the heartbreak.
One very important thing that I want to address to is your fashion sense. Few days back when we were traveling to Bombay, I saw this guy in the club. He was wearing a crop top and his nails were painted black. Why? Please leave it for girls.
You cannot say stuff like that. You're gonna offend a lot of people.
It's okay, not those that I'm hanging out with, because they are all very sane.
It's not being insane. Okay, I'll explain.
Yeah.
So basically, I would feel that we are more gutsy to break the unrealistic social norms, societal norms, which have been set by
Wearing
who?
a crop top is gutsy.
No, like we are breaking those. Like there's a transparency in genders. Like.
I agree with it. A lot of gender blurringness has happened.
Exactly. Like it's been normalized so much. If I feel comfortable in wearing nail polish, I feel like it's a way of self-expressing
You're
myself.
not wearing a nail polish.
I'm talking about other people.
Yeah.
Like I was just giving an example. But if I feel comfortable about wearing a crop top, I will, because it's the way I express myself, and I don't need to justify or be answerable in what I feel comfortable.
No, of course you're not answerable, but of course I sit here as a millennial and judge.
Okay. And I would also say that people often misjudge the people like in these all like things. Like if they're wearing a skirt, if a guy is wearing a skirt, if a guy is like wearing makeup or has his nails done, like you often tend to think that he might be gay or bi, but says who? Like he may not be a part of LGBTQ community, but still feel comfortable in himself.
So I would like to move to the next segment of my podcast,
Okay.
that is spilling out the secrets.
Fun.
So have you ever snuck out?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, because like mom knows everything, so I didn't have to.
For that you have to thank me, because I'm the elder child and I've
Fought all the battles
for you.
Thank you.
And
Grateful for you.
And your way has become more easier this way. So how many girlfriends do you have? Did you have till now?
That you guys know of?
Oh, so we don't know of a few.
I mean...
Moving on,
yeah.
Do you have a fake ID?
No.
Please don't lie, because I know that the legal age limit to party in Dubai is 21 and you've been in clubs.
Okay. I have a fake ID, because I can't, I'll be back by I'm 21 when I turn 21, so I won't be able to experience clubbing life there. So why not?
Yeah.
Also, before we continue, before we move forward, you're the host, you ask the questions normally, but you're also my sister, so I'm going to switch places with you and I want to ask you a few questions.
Sure, go ahead.
I know how you can get so confused and stutter on some Gen Z slangs or some words. Yes. I would really want to, it'll be very fun to see you confused.
Yeah, though I have tried to caught myself up with a lot of Gen Z abbreviations, but let's see what words you have for me.
So the first word is breadcrumbing. Do you know what that means?
Not exactly.
Try it.
So basically, attention seeking.
No, not really. So I'll explain.
Yeah.
Breadcrumbing is basically like when you give someone only a certain amount of attention to keep them invested. So and as soon as I feel if they're not interested anymore, I come back to them and give them attention so that they're again invested, and then I leave. So it's
Okay.
basically a version of leading on.
Okay.
But yeah.
So leaving your breadcrumbs and not giving the entire bread, you mean?
I mean,
No,
okay,
I mean
that's another
literally-
way to,
Yeah, literally it means this.
Yeah.
So,
Very
understood.
fun metaphor, I must say.
So understood.
Yeah. Second would be the word salty.
The only any other definition I don't know. The only definition I know what salty means is my food salty or not?
It's basically a form of expression.
Okay.
Like, I am salty that you didn't invite me to your podcast. It's basically
Feeling bad.
not exactly, it's jealousy and yeah, feeling bad, like offended. Like, I am salty about it.
Oh, offended.
Kind of, like, yeah.
So why can't you just say the word offended?
Because it's not giving, like,
Oh my god, you guys.
yeah. And another word is benching.
No clue. I have no clue, seriously.
You would think of it as something from the gym.
Do I look that I go to a gym?
Okay,
No.
that's true.
I think benching jitna mujhe pata hai is in terms of law.
Mhm.
That I know the lawyers are benched if they are
No,
not.
I'll stop you right there. It's okay. I'll explain.
Okay.
So basically, benching is keeping someone at the bench. Like, basically keeping someone as an option. So if that doesn't work out, if I'm dating someone and if that doesn't work out, but I have someone ready, someone as a backup. Like, I've invested in that person so much that as soon as I'm off the relationship, I have another person to go to. Like,
You guys have so many backups. You want a backup to your family business. You want a backup to the person you are currently dating. I mean, you guys are calculated, guys. I mean, hats off to you. But one thing that I really have to mention over here is I'm very happy in my generation. I would not want to be a part of your generation.
I don't think you'll fit right in.
Definitely, I will not see my other fellows wearing crop tops, wearing these black nail paints,
It's gonna get controversial.
talking
very
about breadcrumbing, where when you can say leading on, saying offended, and not saying salty. I'm very happy on those simple words, simple vocabulary. So thank you so much, Avighan, for sharing the insight. I definitely have a better knowledge
Right.
onto why you guys do what you do and what is going on in those brains of yours.
Right.
And one important thing that you should definitely give us some credit, since everything that you've learned not to do is from our generation. Or to do something
Exactly.
better is because you've seen us do it in a certain
Yeah,
way.
we've seen you guys fuck up and
Oh, please. You are at my podcast, not the other way around.
alright.
So, thank you so much. And maybe we can have another episode
Definitely.
into knowing more about your terminology and learning more about what goes on in your minds and how you do the way you do.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.